Hello class, welcome to our lesson today dealing with section 4.1, writing and graphing inequalities. We're going to review a few things about what we talked about in the previous class period and also go through some things like substitution and making sure we're showing our work. First two questions here, make sure you realize if it's a filled in circle it has the equal to piece, so this first one has a filled in circle, the second one does not. This first one says x less than or equal to 2, so remember that's going to the left side. Dealing with numbers less than 2, but it includes it. The second one could be a little tricky. If your idea is to use the arrows, you got to make sure that x is on the left side, because really this is an x greater than 4 if you flip it around. So it should be numbers that are greater than, which is why the arrow is going to the right in that case. Just make sure you're careful about inequalities when the variable is on the right side. It might be better to switch it around and make it x greater than 4 instead of 4 less than x. You're going to have some questions that ask you to just set up an inequality yourself by using whatever words are there. So the key thing is if you include it or not. So this says x is at most negative 10, so that's everything up to negative 10, so that's why it's less than or equal to. Q and 5 greater than or equal to negative 7.9, that one's pretty straightforward. And twice a number means 2 times that is more than, so that does not include 4, but you can't put 3 because it could have been something like 3.7 and things like that. So you have to go all the way up to 4 but not include it. Whatever variable is given to you in the question, you want to make sure you use that. If it doesn't tell you which one to use, then you get to choose your variable. Okay, the next scenario I want to make sure is pretty clear. On these questions, what I don't want you to do is just put yes or no. Okay, that really doesn't help me understand what you are looking at and make sure that you understand what you're talking about. This is really an exercise and about substitution. So when it says to tell whether negative 3 is a solution, what I would like you to do, and this would be the same on your homework, is you take the negative 3 and substitute it in for the y value. So notice here, it's originally y plus 6 less than 4. I substitute, I take negative 3, plug it in for y. I'm going to show that. Okay, negative 3 plus 6 less than 4. I'm going to combine like terms and combine pieces together on the left side, and I get 3 less than 4. And then you ask yourself, is that true? Is 3 less than 4? And the answer is yes, so it is a solution to the inequality. Second one, plug in negative 3 for y. Negative 3 over negative 4 is 3/4. Is 3/4 greater than 4? The answer is no. When I say show your work, I want you to show the substitution, simplify, yes or no. Okay, those are the three things I'll be looking for when it comes to this section. This one says tell whether negative 2 is a solution. So notice I'm going to plug in negative 2. So negative 2 minus 5 greater than or equal to negative 6. Is negative 7 greater than negative 6? That is a situation that a lot of students miss because they say, oh yeah, 7 is greater than 6, but it's negative, so it's backwards. So negative 7 is not greater than negative 6 because it's actually less than. This next one here, plug in negative 2, multiply them together. Is 11 less than 14? And the answer is yes. It doesn't take a lot of work to show it. My expectation is you're going to substitute, simplify, and then yes or no for these solutions. You might have a little bit more work or multiple variables. So it says tell whether negative 2 is a solution. Notice there's only one variable in this question. It's just the letter y. So negative 2 goes in for all of those situations. So you got 5 minus 2 times negative 2, negative 4 times negative 2. The right side's easy because it just becomes 8. But remember on the left side, you cannot subtract until you multiply. So you got to multiply 2 times negative 2 first, and then do keep, change, and it's 5 plus 4, which will be 9. In the second one, you have negative 2 plugging in for the x value. You say, well, how do I know if it's for x or if it's for y? Whatever variable you're looking at, you plug it in. Okay, and you go through and simplify through. 1/2 times negative 2 is negative 1, plus 3 is 2. Is 2 less than or equal to negative 2? And the answer is no. Realize if they would have been both negative 2, the answer would have been yes because the equal to is there. Okay, so that may affect your answer as well. Take a few moments and try these 4 questions. It just deals with graphing inequalities. When you do the ones that have decimals, you could either go by like 0.1, so maybe you go 1.3 or 1.4 or 1.5. That might be a good suggestion. You could do 1 and 2 and just kind of note where 1.4 is. That would also be another option. When you write your inequalities, I want you to at least have 3 numbers, okay, that you're looking at. So you have your number that you care about and then 1 less than, 1 greater than. That would be especially important when you deal with the negatives. Okay, so here are the 4 answers. things that I would make sure of: open, close circle, which way the arrows go. And then the last one, that's that backward situation. Really, this is a greater than if you flip it around. So t is greater than -1/2. Okay, you want to make sure that you're okay on those scenarios, and any of the graphs that look like this would be great to show. Okay, next thing that we're going to look at is just writing an inequality based upon some information. The inequality that represents this situation, first thing to make sure of is that you define your variable. So you want to make sure you're defining that variable. So in this question, you don't know how many times you've gone to the park, so that's your variable. It costs $30 to go to the park each time. A yearly pass is $400. So the question is, well, how many times do you need to go in order to make it worth buying the yearly pass? So maybe your family has a yearly pass to something. You use it for a year, and you realize, well, I didn't go as much as I thought, so I won't get it next year. You could do those things like with museums, the zoo, amusement parks. Okay, all of those options are good. So notice here that it's 30x greater than or equal to 400. So your goal is to figure out when will I end up paying more than 400. The fact that it's less than or greater than is going to be important, because you want to make sure you go at least that many times. Then to solve that, it's kind of like an equation. We'll do some of this later, but you really just have to take 400 divided by 30, and you get 13.3 repeating trips to the amusement park. So when should you buy the amusement park? Well, you can't go 13.3 repeating. It's got to be 14. Okay, so you got to round that up. So if you go 14 or more times, it'll be worth your investment of the $400. Okay, your homework 1 through 3, that's 1, 2, and 3, and then 11 through 27 odd in section 1.4. Make sure for those sets of questions, is it a solution? Make sure you know what I'm looking for. I want to know whether it's a solution, plug it in, substitute, simplify, yes or no. I'm looking for that idea from your homework. Have a good day, everyone.